So my wife, Olivia, wouldn't be lonely after I died. I built her a robot that looked exactly like me. She liked a husband with stable emotions, so I programmed the robot to satisfy all of Olivia's requests, to love her unconditionally. She never liked doing housework, so I had the robot become a full-time homemaker, taking care of every aspect of my wife's life. But over time, this made Olivia think I was too weak, too incompetent, unable to live without her. So, she started bringing different men home every night, trying to provoke me, wanting to see me consumed by jealousy. Even when her first love viciously pushed me off the third-floor balcony, my wife Olivia just casually walked over, her tone contemptuous. Jumped? You mean Ethan? He certainly knows how to grab attention, coming up with such a stupid way to get mine. Fine, I'll humor him this once. Olivia's face showed no trace of concern for me. Instead, it was like she was doing me a favor, casually glancing down below. She clearly saw me, lying motionless on the grass. Still, Olivia's expression remained unchanged. All right, Ethan, stop pretending. I came over to talk to you, you should know when to stop. She thought that after she said this, I would sensibly get up, as if her attention was some great gift. But after waiting a long time without the desired reaction, Olivia's face fell completely. She warned me, Ethan, don't push your luck. My patience is limited. The man beside her deliberately said, Olivia, maybe we should go down and check? What if something really happened? Olivia sneered. How high is this? The third floor, not the 30th. Falling from here is like getting scratched. Could it possibly kill him? This villa only had 3 floors. A normal fall probably wouldn't be fatal, but it would cause injury. And landing on the back of the head could still be deadly. Olivia seemed to ignore this, or perhaps she just didn't care if I lived or died. If I really died in front of her, she'd probably be happier. Unfortunately, I had already died once. I couldn't die a second time. 3 years had passed, and Olivia still hadn't noticed. The me lying on the ground now, the me who had been by her side for 3 whole years, wasn't the real me, just a companion android I had meticulously created. As for me, the original Ethan, my mission failed. The system had already destroyed my physical body. My soul, however, remained in this world, and by some twist of fate, ended up inside this robot's body. I couldn't control its actions, nor did I need to, because both its appearance and programming were almost identical to me when I was alive. The chip in its head contained all my memories. The joints in my body were dislocated, seemingly jammed, rendering it temporarily immobile. It had entered a temporary shutdown state. Of course, Olivia couldn't see these abnormalities. She raised an eyebrow mockingly. Stop playing dead, Ethan. Do you really expect me to come down and help you up? Finally, amidst her taunts, I slowly climbed up from the ground. The program rebooted, and it could finally operate normally, though its posture was incredibly awkward. Olivia, look at Ethan's leg, it looks strange. Did he break a bone? He's young. How could his bones be that brittle? Olivia dismissed it. It was Ethan's own stupid idea to jump. If he really got hurt, he deserves it. He needs to take responsibility for his own actions. Ryan, don't worry about this idiot. Besides, what's the big deal if a grown man breaks a few bones? It'll heal in time. Don't be so dramatic. The man named Ryan chuckled. Right, Olivia, remember? When we were kids, the neighbor's dog fell from the building, and it was up and running in no time. Ethan shouldn't be worse off than an animal, right? He called me Ethan repeatedly, but his words held no respect. Olivia wasn't stupid. She understood. She just didn't care how others insulted me, because it suited her perfectly. Especially when the words came from Ryan, her childhood sweetheart, the white moonlight of her youth. They came down into the yard together. Ryan deliberately ran up to me, acting overly concerned. Ethan, you really scared me just now. Why would you do that? Are you okay? Olivia, however, watched my strange posture with cold eyes. Besides that, my clothes were covered in dirt and scratched by branches. I looked dirty and pathetic. Seemingly disgusted, Olivia clicked her tongue and kept her distance. She said, Ethan, your acting is really terrible. She glanced at the spot where I had fallen. In the grass, there was a strange object, like some kind of mechanical part, reflecting a faint metallic glint in the night. She must have seen it but didn't think much of it. She sighed lightly. The flowers and grass got crushed. What a shame. I knew the person she cared about most was Ryan. But I never imagined that even a random plant in the yard was worth more to her than my life. All these years of devotion felt like a joke. Ethan, doing something like this really scared Ryan. Olivia pointed at me. How about this? Apologize to Ryan and we'll let this go. I won't hold you accountable for jumping. Listen to how absurd that sounds. Jumping off the balcony had somehow become my fault. Ryan was the one who pushed me, yet she wanted me to apologize to the attacker. My voice function was still malfunctioning. I opened my mouth but couldn't speak. My silence made Olivia even more dissatisfied. Couldn't you have jumped earlier or later? Why wait until I brought Ryan home? Ethan, if you're jealous that Ryan and I are close, just say it. Tell me you're jealous. What's the point of causing such a scene at home? Her voice grew increasingly agitated. It was somewhat surprising. Did Olivia even remember that this villa was our home? Yet she repeatedly and brazenly brought different men back, just to humiliate me, provoke me, wanting to see me driven mad with jealousy. But she was destined for disappointment. This robot was created with one core setting, to replace me and love Olivia forever. Therefore, it would never show her the slightest coldness or impatience. It wouldn't get angry, wouldn't feel jealous. It wouldn't have any opinion on her actions. Wasn't this the perfect husband Olivia envisioned? Why was she still not satisfied? Olivia brought Ryan home the day before yesterday. That should have been the anniversary of my death. I still remembered right before I died. Tormented by illness, I rolled off the bed, trying to reach the painkillers. My hands trembled uncontrollably, pills scattering everywhere. And the blood I coughed up, staining the floor. I begged the system to do me a favor to call Olivia. At least, I wanted to hear her voice one last time, just once. Olivia didn't answer. She was at the airport seeing Ryan off, busy saying goodbye. The system even broadcasted the airport scene live for me. They were hugging tightly. Ryan even kissed her. Olivia just turned her head slightly, not dodging. Anyone watching would assume they were lovers reluctant to part. My face was pale. Silently, I activated the robot I had prepared long ago. I closed my eyes and never opened them again. The system cleaned up my body. It asked me, "Host, you voluntarily gave up the chance to complete the mission, transferring the cancer cells that should have been in the target's body to yourself. Are you sure you don't regret it?" My soul floated. I said, "No regrets. My mission in this world was to win over Olivia. So I knew about her early on, knew her for just as long as Ryan did, though I had always watched her silently. I genuinely fell for this lively, kind girl. She would give all her pocket money to beggars, help elderly ladies cross the street. Once I pretended to be in trouble. Olivia saw and, predictably, helped me. That's how we met, and smoothly fell in love. One day, Olivia suddenly fainted during a date. I rushed her to the hospital, only to find out she had a hereditary terminal illness. The cancer cells were spreading rapidly. She probably didn't have much time left. As long as I accompanied her through the final moments of her life, my mission would be complete. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't just watch her die. I loved Olivia, so I was willing to give her the chance to live. After hearing my answer, the system was quiet for a long time, then said, "In that case, I will let you stay in this world a little longer to see." And so, my soul remained. For 3 whole years, Olivia never discovered that the me in the house was fake. She grew increasingly annoyed with me, coming home less and less each year. Every time she returned, she brought different men, openly, never hiding it. The entire social circle knew Ethan, the Davis heiress's official husband, was being cheated on so blatantly he could grow a green pasture on his head. Yet he didn't dare say a word. A disgrace to manhood. I smiled bitterly. I never thought things between us would end up like this. Voices drifted in from outside. "Olivia, bringing me here so late. Won't Ethan get angry? Making him jealous isn't good. Maybe I shouldn't stay here." Olivia was silent for a moment, then said, "Don't worry about him. In this house, I call the shots. Ethan wouldn't dare have any objections." Ryan laughed, praising her. "As expected of the Davis heiress, you really know how to handle your husband." Olivia didn't continue the topic, instead calling my name coldly. "Ethan, hurry up and come out. Can't you hear we have a guest?" The front door opened, and I walked out. I proactively bent down to get them slippers, movements practiced as if done countless times. Olivia remained expressionless. Ryan, however, looked at me several times in disbelief, as if seeing a ghost. "Hey Ethan, don't you recognize me?" I looked at him and accurately stated his identity. Ryan laughed exaggeratedly. "Haven't seen you in 3 years, Ethan. You've really changed." Quite a surprise. Olivia's lips tightened further. Her gaze was mocking. "He just loves to pretend. Everyone knows what he used to be like," as if that petty, small-minded man wasn't him. "Acting so magnanimous now, I wonder how long he can keep it up. In the past, Ryan and I never got along. Every time conflict arose, Olivia would always side with Ryan without asking why. When I was alive, it would hurt. Now, it didn't matter. During dinner, Ryan coughed. Olivia immediately ordered me, "What are you standing there for? Go pour him some water." I turned and went to the kitchen, pouring a glass of warm water. Ryan wasn't satisfied. "Too cold. I want hot water, the hottest kind, understand?" So I went back and got him a cup of freshly boiled water. A glint flashed in Ryan's eyes. As he took the cup, his hand slipped, and the scalding water spilled onto my hand. How childish. This robot body is waterproof and heat-resistant. But Olivia didn't know that. In her eyes, I was still a normal, living person, and normal skin couldn't withstand that temperature. "Ryan, are you okay?" Yet, the first person Olivia cared about was Ryan. "I'm fine, Olivia. Ethan probably just slipped." Don't blame him. Only then did Olivia spare me a glance. "What use are you? Can't do anything right. Can't even hold a cup of water properly." I wasn't even allowed at the table, standing humbly aside, listening to her scolding. Look how ridiculous this scene is. I am supposed to be the man of the house, yet I'm serving water and tea to her and her lover, because it's her command, the highest priority instruction in the programming. I knew Ryan was different from the other men Olivia had brought home. He was special. So even if I told her Ryan pushed me off the balcony, Olivia wouldn't believe it. I limped back into the house, occasionally touching the back of my head. Olivia suddenly frowned and stopped me. "Ethan, are you really hurt?" I stopped and shook my head at her. In the past, whenever I was sick or injured, I habitually hid it from Olivia, not wanting her to worry. The robot's programming naturally followed suit. Olivia fell into thought, perhaps recalling how I landed earlier, indeed, back of the head first. She sighed, as if making some concession, walked over, and abruptly pulled my arm away. "Let me see. Don't tell me the fall turned you into an idiot." Olivia reached for the back of my head, parting the hair. She felt a slight indentation, but she felt no blood, not a single drop. I fell from the 3rd floor, hit the ground, my skull dented, yet there was no bleeding. Her eyes held a mixture of suspicion and panic. Her gaze lingered there for a long time, then she actually curled her lip into a smile. She must have thought I had taken precautions beforehand. "Ethan, if you're going to play the victim, at least make it convincing. Jumping off balconies, faking injuries. You've actually learned to use such tactics to get my attention now. You've really grown bold, haven't you?" She sounded sarcastic. Or maybe not. Back in the room, I lay on the bed. Robots don't need sleep. This was hibernation mode, for self-repair. I didn't expect Olivia to come in. She stood by the bed, looking down at me, her expression complex. "Try a different trick next time. You should know I hate being threatened with someone's life." I didn't. The voice function was restored, the tone normal. Olivia's expression turned cold. "Ethan, we're at this point. Are you still going to pretend with me? You used to hate seeing me with Ryan. You two would fight the moment you saw each other. I know you were jealous of him, so I told you off a few times, told you not to compete with him. Was it necessary to hold a grudge until today?" I didn't understand. What did Olivia want me to do to satisfy her? She didn't like the living Ethan who got jealous and threw tantrums when she got too close to other men. Now, she didn't like the robot Ethan who obeyed her every whim either. Perhaps she just didn't like Ethan, period. I sat up in bed, looking at Olivia, puzzled. Her face cold. She climbed onto the bed, straddling me. She asked, "Ethan, do you still love me?" That was a question I should be asking her. But I still answered, "Olivia, I will always love you." Olivia's expression softened slightly. She leaned down, resting her head on my chest, hearing the simulated heartbeat I produced, and also, faintly, "What's that buzzing sound?" Olivia looked around the room suspiciously but didn't dwell on it. "Ethan, since you say you love me, prove it with actions." She reached for my belt. For 3 years, this was the first time she initiated intimacy. Olivia leaned in and kissed me. I saw a flicker of surprise in her eyes. She was probably wondering why my lips were so cold. Just as she was about to proceed further, Ryan's voice came from outside, sounding weak. "Olivia, Olivia, where are you? My stomach suddenly feels upset. Can you take me to the hospital?" Olivia froze. She lowered her head, staring intently at me, the emotions in her eyes deep and turbulent. Her long hair fell from beside her ear, the ends brushing my cheek. In the past, I would have found it ticklish. But now, I remained perfectly still, like a wooden doll, asking unromantically, "Olivia, Ryan is calling you. Aren't you going out?" Olivia seemed displeased, her voice low and cold. "Ethan, do you really want me to leave right now?" "Then what about Ryan?" Olivia scoffed. "Are the butler and maids dead?" So she did know there were a butler and maids in the house. Yet she repeatedly treated me like a servant, making me wait on her and the men she brought home. "Ethan, just say you don't want me to go and I won't. How about that?" But I told her I completely respected her decision. "Fine, have it your way." Enraged, Olivia flipped off the bed, not giving me another glance. She personally drove Ryan to the hospital that night. The system started its live broadcast again. Every day Olivia wasn't in the villa, the system would show me where she was and what she was doing. Hospital. Olivia stayed with Ryan while he got in 4-drip, gently asking if he was hungry, what he wanted to eat. Ryan thought for a moment. "I want seafood noodles. I heard you say Ethan makes really good noodles. Can I try some?" "Of course." Olivia took out her phone and started typing. Almost instantly, I received her message. "Make a bowl of seafood noodles. Deliver it to St. Jude's Hospital." Afraid Ryan would starve, she added. "Be quick about it." Back when Olivia was unwell, I specifically learned to cook because I worried about her. She had praised me several times on social media. When guests came over and wanted me to show off my skills, Olivia would firmly refuse, saying I wasn't a chef, and this was a privilege only she could enjoy. Things had changed after all. People change, hearts change. When I arrived at the hospital carrying the insulated container, Ryan had already fallen asleep, leaning on Olivia's shoulder. Olivia looked tired too, dark circles under her eyes, but she refused to sleep, staying awake to watch over Ryan. The Olivia who always prioritized her beauty sleep could even stay up all night for him. Olivia gave me a cold look. So slow. He already fell asleep waiting. What's the point of bringing it now? Throw it away. Her tone was as casual as if discussing throwing out trash. I had no objections, nodding in agreement. Olivia suddenly spoke again. "Wait." She frowned, tilting her chin towards the table. "Put it there." Just as I was about to walk over, the supposedly sleeping Ryan suddenly stretched out his leg, tripping me. The noodles and broth spilled all over the floor. Olivia watched the mess without expression. "Oh dear, Ethan. Look how you've dirted the hospital floor." Ryan pretended to just wake up, rubbing his stomach. "Even if you didn't want me to eat it, you shouldn't have deliberately wasted food. That's shameful." I was about to retort. Olivia said casually, "Ethan, didn't you hear? Wasting food is shameful. You eat it yourself." "Eat it? How? Lying on the floor like a dog?" I knew Olivia was deliberately humiliating me, trying to provoke me again. Unfortunately, dignity belongs to humans, not machines. The moment I crouched down, Olivia was the one who erupted in anger first. "Ethan," she shot up, grabbing my collar. "Are you crazy? People are watching. If you don't care about face, I do." Returning home from the hospital, Olivia remained furious. Even Ryan only received half of her usual good temper. Half was already quite good. Previously, when Olivia got angry, she spared no one. Ryan came over to provoke me. "Ethan, you're so dull and boring now. No wonder Olivia doesn't like you. Anyone would get tired of it. You'd better be sensible and leave on your own. What's the point of clinging to a position that doesn't belong to you, getting nothing but cold shoulders?" Olivia overheard this. Ryan looked a bit guilty, but perhaps Olivia's consistent favoritism gave him confidence. He stuck his neck out and continued, Olivia, don't blame me for meddling, but Ethan is just an unemployed bum, useless, completely dependent on you all these years. Such a worthless man doesn't deserve you at all. I looked at Olivia. She didn't refute it. Since 5 years ago, when I transferred the cancer cells from Olivia's body, I quit my job. To outsiders, I was indeed an unemployed bum living off Olivia. But I was hiding in the basement, working day and night on my research. I always had a talent and interest in this field. With the system's help, I had long become the most mysterious and brilliant genius inventor of the century. A single creation could sell for millions. When Olivia's company faced financial difficulties, I helped her secretly. Yet now, I heard Olivia say, Ryan, I know you mean well, and I appreciate you lending me $100 million back then to fill the project gap. Ethan will never be as capable as you, but we are still husband and wife. Supporting him is just one extra mouth to feed. Ryan had no choice but to leave, resentfully. Olivia glanced at me, then casually pulled out a chair and sat down. She called the butler. Mr. Henderson, please verify Ethan's expenses over the past 3 years. I didn't understand what she was doing. Was she settling accounts with me? Mr. Henderson wiped sweat from his forehead. Ms. Davis, regarding Mr. Ethan's expenses for the past 3 years, he spent exactly what you gave him. Nothing left. Correct. Nothing left. Hearing this, Olivia wasn't surprised. She said sarcastically, Ethan, look at you. How much you need me. How would you survive without me? Seeing me remain silent, Mr. Henderson let out a huge sigh of relief. Actually, at first, when Olivia treated me this way, the household staff felt sorry for me. Over time, they realized Olivia truly didn't care about me anymore. So they started eyeing the grocery money. Olivia was generous with money. Initially, they only skimmed a small portion secretly. Once they got a taste and weren't caught, they grew bolder. Later, they took half, then eventually they pocketed the entire amount. If I asked, they just said Olivia hadn't given it. After all, I was so easy to fool, and Olivia wouldn't bother with such trivial matters. After all, I wasn't important. Olivia's attitude towards me shifted twice. Once 5 years ago and once 3 years ago. Back then, ignoring everyone's advice, I submitted my resignation, giving up a promising career. Olivia heard about it and asked why. I said, I'm tired. I just want to live a leisurely life at home, not work so hard anymore. Anyway, Olivia, you're the Davis heiress. Supporting me shouldn't be a problem, right? Olivia was stunned, seemingly unable to believe those words came from me. After all, I had once personally promised her I would earn money to support her, so she wouldn't have to work so hard. Ethan, are you sure you've thought this through? I nodded. Okay. Olivia agreed, but her eyes were filled with disappointment. After she left, I covered my mouth, coughing up a handful of blood. The system said the cancer cells were now in my body, but it controlled the spread so I wouldn't die too quickly. I wiped the blood from my mouth and whispered thanks. The system had spoken. It was a done deal. But I wasn't reassured, so I dragged Olivia back to the hospital for another checkup. Olivia's report was perfectly healthy. I looked down at mine. In the silence, I heard Olivia ask how it went. I crumpled the report and stuffed it into my pocket. Same as you, very healthy. Olivia replied with a perfunctory "oh," her face showing no happiness. Instead, she frowned and complained, Why did you insist on coming for a checkup? What a waste of time. You're idle now, but I'm different. I don't have time to waste with you. I rubbed my nose. After Olivia left, I tore the cancer report into pieces and threw it in the trash. Being afflicted by illness is truly terrifying. I thought I was strong enough, brave enough to fight it alone. I was wrong. When the pain made me curl up on the floor, writhing, how I wished Olivia could be by my side. But no, I couldn't tell her the truth. All my efforts would be wasted. So I settled for the next best thing. When the pain hit, I'd call her, just listen to her talk. Her voice was my medicine. Olivia, Olivia. I forced out her name. Most times, Olivia would patiently respond, Ethan, I'm working. Can we talk when I get back? I'd say, Olivia, I miss you so much. Olivia would laugh helplessly, say she missed me too, then blow a kiss through the phone. I'd smile too, and the pain seemed to lessen. But later, when I called, the phone would just ring unanswered. When I finally got through, her voice would be cold. "Ethan, can you stop bothering me? I'm busy with something important right now." My throat felt like it was stuffed with cotton, tight and uncomfortable. "Olivia, I'm sick." Afraid she'd worry, I quickly added, "Don't worry, it's not serious. I've taken medicine. I just wanted you to keep me company. It won't take long. Just talk to me for a few minutes, okay?" I pleaded humbly. After saying this, I thought Olivia would at least ask about my condition. Instead, I was met with her angry outburst. "Do you have to get sick right now? Since you've taken medicine, just rest. What's the use of telling me? I'm not a doctor." I said miserably, "Olivia, I just miss you." Olivia was silent for a long time, finally sighing, "All right, Ethan, you just know it's Ryan's birthday today, so you deliberately came up with this getting sick act to trick me into coming back. Ryan and I are just having dinner together. Can you please stop making trouble? You're really annoying me like this." My heart felt like it was being pierced by thousands of needles. "Okay, Olivia, I won't disturb you then." I struggled to say the words, but before I could finish, the line went dead with a dial tone. After that, I stopped causing trouble. I focused entirely on my research every day. I wanted someone to take care of Olivia after I died. I couldn't trust anyone else. Thus, this companion android was born. Its sole purpose in this world was to accompany Olivia in my place. Fully functional, but with flaws that could easily be exposed. If Olivia had cared about me just a little more, she would have definitely discovered it long ago. 3 years ago, after seeing Ryan off abroad, Olivia came home and secretly cried for a long time. She seemed to belatedly realize her feelings for Ryan had crossed the line of friendship. But it was too late. She was already married to me. Ethan, where are you?" Olivia wiped her tears and searched the house for me. She didn't know yet that while she was kissing Ryan goodbye at the airport, I had already died at home. The one appearing before her now was just a substitute. "Olivia, I'm here." Olivia threw her arms around me, her voice choked with sobs. What if someday I had to leave you? What would you do?" "I would die." Olivia bit her lip and looked up. "What's this talk about dying? You know my parents both died from hereditary diseases. I hate it when people mention death to me. Why do you have to threaten me with it?" "It's not a threat. It's true." "Enough, Ethan." Olivia's face turned cold. "I have nothing more to say to you." After that, she initiated a one-sided Cold War with me. Olivia didn't come home for nearly a week. The system told me she went abroad to find Ryan. They climbed snow mountains together, went scuba diving together, did all sorts of romantic things in the name of friendship, just stopping short of crossing the final line. But it didn't make much difference. Emotional cheating is still cheating. The system asked me again. Regret it? This time I was silent. When Olivia returned, she was quite frank, telling me where she had been and what she had done. She also promised me she did it just to say a proper goodbye to Ryan, and they wouldn't contact each other anymore. My reaction was different from what she expected. No jealousy, no questioning. Just gently asking if she was tired from her trip abroad, if she wanted a massage. Olivia panicked slightly, worried this was the calm before the storm. "Ethan, are you really not angry?" Not angry." Later, Olivia discovered that no matter what she did, I wouldn't get angry, always maintaining that gentle, patient demeanor, like an emotionless puppet. She despised it. She thought I was deliberately putting on an act to retaliate against her. She brought home man after man, testing my reaction time and again. Still the same, no effect at all. Countless nights, she would grab my neck, hysterically demanding, "Why aren't you jealous? Ethan, why aren't you jealous anymore? Didn't you used to hate this the most? Who are you putting on this magnanimous act for now?" Until Ryan returned, and Olivia brought him back. I actually jumped off the balcony. Olivia was ecstatic, thinking I finally couldn't keep up the pretense. Unfortunately, she was wrong. So many things, one after another, she was terribly wrong. I couldn't even imagine her reaction on the day she learned the truth. Ryan came again to persuade Olivia. He wasn't even pretending anymore, fully revealing his hostility towards me. "Just file for divorce, and you won't have to support this loser anymore." "Olivia, Why put yourself through this? I heard you had a prenup, so you don't have to worry about him taking half your money in the divorce. Just like that, they started discussing divorce right in front of me. As if finally remembering my presence, Olivia turned her head and asked me, Ethan, I want a divorce. Do you agree? I requested the system again. Help me change the robot's programming to agree. Olivia and Ryan were childhood sweethearts who grew up together. I was just an outsider who appeared midway. I shouldn't have interfered between them. Ending up like this could be considered my own fault. So I decided to let them be together. Olivia stared at me for a long time, finally clapping her hands. All right then, no time like the present. Let's do it today. A formal divorce still required a 30-day cooling-off period. Coming out of the city hall, Olivia was distracted, seemingly lost in thought. Suddenly, a large truck came speeding towards them. In an instant, I had pushed Olivia out of the way. By the time she realized what happened, I had been thrown over 10 meters away. Olivia's expression was blank, as if unable to believe what just occurred. Ethan, she screamed my name, running towards me as fast as she could. She expected to see me lying in a pool of blood. But what met her eyes was a scatter of machine parts on the ground. Olivia was completely stunned. Grief and sadness were forcibly interrupted, replaced by confusion, utter confusion and shock. Ethan, why? Why aren't you bleeding? What happened to your body? Olivia, like she had lost her mind, rushed over and picked me up. Looking at my severed mechanical arm, she asked in a trembling voice, You had an amputation? When did this happen? Why didn't you tell me? I shook my head, comforting her. I'm fine, Olivia. Don't cry. I habitually reached out to wipe her tears, but the arm I raised was the broken mechanical right one. In that instant, Olivia's tears flowed even more fiercely. Yes, it's okay, it'll be okay, Ethan. I'll take you to the hospital right away. You'll definitely get better. But upon arriving at the hospital, another piece of bad news awaited Olivia. She stared blankly at the doctor. You said you can't treat him. What do you mean? The doctor glanced at me, shook his head and sighed. Ma'am, our hospital treats sick people. It's not human. We really can't do anything. Olivia demanded loudly, What nonsense are you talking about? How is my husband not human? Open your eyes and look clearly. If he's not human, then what is he? It's a robot, a professor-like man stated. Olivia's lips moved, repeating, A robot. Yes, and an incredibly sophisticated and lifelike android. Currently, the only person in the world capable of creating this is the Master. The Master, codenamed Z, Olivia had certainly heard of Z's fame, a nationally protected talent. She had spent a fortune trying to contact him, but to no avail. Of course, she couldn't reach him because Z was already dead. That was me. Olivia brought the armless me home, along with the pile of parts collected from the accident scene. Ryan heard about it too, looking incredulous. How did Ethan get his hands on Master Z's work? That's something money can't necessarily buy. Olivia lowered her eyes, silent. Ryan continued, Olivia, he kept such an important thing from you. Olivia's gaze flickered, finally showing a reaction. What are you trying to say? Olivia, have you ever considered that Ethan betrayed you long ago? Ryan poked my body. This is a fake, right? Not just the arm, the whole thing is fake. The real Ethan abandoned you and disappeared ages ago. Impossible. You're lying. Olivia's eyes were bloodshot, refusing to believe this fact. Ryan produced a small knife from somewhere and made another cut on my other arm. Olivia couldn't stop him in time. The broken skin revealed the texture of metal underneath. No blood. I didn't cry out in pain. Olivia completely lost it. She pushed Ryan away, her voice choked with tears. Ethan, if it hurts, just say so. You can feel pain, right? If you're jealous of Ryan, get angry at me. Tell me you don't like what I'm doing, and I'll stop. Ethan, why won't you just say it? Why? Because the program lacked that command. Because the current Ethan was just an emotionless robot, existing solely to protect Olivia. The one who loved her was me. The robot had no heart. Without a heart, of course, it wouldn't feel jealousy or hatred. Robots don't feel pain. But I do. Your concern comes too late, Olivia. Ryan used the knife to stab directly at my head. A crackling, buzzing sound of electricity filled the air. Olivia, now you should believe me, right? A living person's brain doesn't look like this. Ryan showed Olivia the components of my head. Among the tangled wires there was a tiny chip. Olivia's eyes were scarlet, her voice trembling. Ethan? No, you're not Ethan. But if you're not Ethan, then where is the real Ethan? I entered a program malfunction, unable to answer her question. Ryan said, Olivia, calm down and think carefully. Why would Ethan put a fake by your side? Isn't it because he's afraid you'll find out? Only people with guilty consciences are afraid of being discovered. So, Olivia, wake up. Ethan doesn't want you anymore, and you're here crying your eyes out for him. Olivia finally processed the unbearable truth. Her world felt like it was collapsing. Her voice was hoarse. Ryan, do you think he enjoys playing me like this? Watching me run around in circles. He must be so proud of himself. I was already dead, thoroughly dead. What was there to be proud of? Olivia roughly wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. When she looked up again, her eyes were icy cold. I will find him. I'll dig 3 feet deep if I have to. Olivia immediately took people to the orphanage where I grew up. I came into this world without parents. The director, Mama Jean, and the other children at the orphanage were my family. I always remembered when we were young we couldn't afford food. Mama Jean, to keep the orphanage running, knelt before wealthy businessmen, kowtowing until her head bled, begging them, barely managing to survive until now, providing a haven for those homeless children. But now, Olivia had people smash the dining hall tables, dismantle the dormitory beds, tear down the orphanage's outer wall. She wanted to make those children homeless. Where's Ethan? Tell him to get out here. Mama Jean, despite suffering a heart attack from anger, held on. Ethan, he's not here. He hasn't been back in years. 3 years. Since I died, I had never returned. Olivia sneered. Really? I don't believe you. Keep smashing. The children huddled in corners, trembling with fear. A slightly older boy ran out, trying to stop their excessive actions. Ryan stepped forward and kicked him away. You little bastards, you must have dirty blood to be abandoned here. No parents, no upbringing. Get lost. His words not only insulted the children but were also a veiled insult to me. And Olivia just stood by, watching coldly, unmoved. The system asked me that question again. Host, do you regret it? Yes, I regretted it. Finally heard you say you regret it. Alright, I'll use my final authority to help you one more time. Resurrection is impossible, but I can restore this world to its original state. After returning, Olivia turned the entire house upside down again. Mr. Henderson handed Olivia the mechanical part he found on the lawn, the one that fell off when Ryan pushed me off the balcony. Olivia had seen it then but hadn't thought much of it. Seeing it again now, she took it, clenching it tightly in her palm, the metal edge almost cutting her soft skin. She tossed it into the pile of my parts, then paused. She noticed the tiny chip. Just as she picked it up, lost in thought, another servant ran in frantically. Speak. What did you find? Ms. Davis, perhaps you should go to the basement yourself. Olivia frowned suspiciously. She had lived here for so many years, of course. She knew about the basement, but she always found it damp and cold and avoided it. Olivia got up and followed the servant to the basement. The door opened, revealing a room full of high-tech creations. Without exception, they all bore the letter Z. Olivia's expression was blank as she walked in numbly, reaching out to touch things, seemingly unable to believe what she was seeing. She walked further in, towards a strangely shaped computer. There was a card reader slot. She tentatively placed the chip onto it. She saw my memories. 7 years old, the first time I saw Olivia. Ryan wasn't by her side yet, but I didn't dare talk to her. 10 years old, Ryan first appeared beside Olivia. I dared even less to approach. 14 years old, I finally spoke my first words to Olivia. She helped me with something, and I blushed, saying thank you. The youthful infatuation was already strong then. 16 years old, I received my university acceptance letter, finally gaining the confidence to confess to Olivia. She said she'd agree when we turned 18. 18 years old, we got together, sharing countless memorable moments, filled with laughter and tears. 20 years old, Olivia was diagnosed with a terminal illness. I begged the system to transfer the cancer cells for her. 21 years old, I called her while writhing in pain. She was with Ryan. 22 years old, I died. She was kissing Ryan goodbye at the airport. Olivia knew everything that happened after that. Until I was 25 this year, even the robot I left behind was destroyed by her. Tears splashed onto the computer console. Olivia frantically tried to wipe them away, only to find more falling, impossible to clean. Ethan, I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. She apologized desperately to me, to the pile of scattered machine parts, fragmented like my long-shattered heart. Olivia stayed in the basement, refusing food and water. When awake, she'd hug my robot parts, watching my memories on the computer over and over. When tired, she'd just doze off there. Even in her dreams, she called my name. Ryan came looking for her. Olivia, what's wrong with you? You'll ruin your health like this. Ruin health? Yes, I ruined Ethan's health. Olivia muttered to herself, seeming mad. Seeing Ryan's face, she suddenly became lucid, as if remembering something, her eyes turning murderously cold. Ryan jumped, startled. Olivia, it was you. It was all your fault. If you didn't exist, Ethan and I wouldn't have ended up like this. You're the one who should be dead. Hearing Olivia say this, Ryan understood she had discovered the truth. He revealed a cruel smile. Olivia, how can you blame me? Wasn't this your own choice? Ethan is dead. Just be with me from now on. I'll treat you well, and I'll manage the Davis family company properly. Don't worry. Olivia grabbed a nearby metal blade and stabbed it towards Ryan. Seemingly unprepared for her desperate attack, Ryan was stabbed in a vital spot in his abdomen. As he died, he was still saying, "Even if you kill me, Ethan won't come back to life." Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Olivia stabbed his head again. Blood and brain matter splattered out. Yes, this was a normal person's brain. Watching this scene, she felt no fear, instead laughing and crying hysterically. She closed her eyes and slashed her own neck. When she opened her eyes again, Olivia was back at age 20. She had fainted on the street, been taken to the hospital, and diagnosed with a terminal illness. She grabbed the doctor who examined her, urgently asking, "Where's Ethan?" "My husband, no, my boyfriend. Where is he?" The doctor looked at her with pity. "Young lady, an older man brought you in. He probably wasn't your boyfriend, right?" Olivia released her grip, defeated. "No, my boyfriend is my age." After leaving the hospital, Olivia went to the university, asking classmates where I was. They looked at her strangely. "There's no student named Ethan in our school." Olivia froze. Disbelieving, she grabbed everyone passing by, asking where I was, if they had seen me. She went to my orphanage. Mama Jean also said there had never been a child named Ethan. She even went to find Ryan, asking if he had seen me. Ryan looked at her, confused. "Olivia, are you having a nightmare? There's no such person as Ethan. You must have imagined him. Even if you don't like me and want to reject me, you should come up with a better excuse." Before he finished, Olivia slapped him. Tears streamed down her face simultaneously. She murmured painfully, "How could this be? How could this happen?" And I, still in soul form, watched this silently. From now on, Olivia would have to endure the suffering that was originally hers, until death. My existence was completely erased from her world. Except for her own memories, not a single trace of me was left for her. The system spoke its final words to me. "Host, it's time. Farewell. See you in the next life." I thought I detected a hint of reluctance in its mechanical electronic voice. I smiled, turned, and stepped into the cycle of reincarnation.